Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer. Look, if you're laser focused on keeping your organization's governance, risk, and compliance frameworks razor sharp, you are absolutely in the right place today. We're breaking down some massive, foundational changes hitting the internal auditing profession.
Oh, for sure. We're talking about a complete modernization of the Global Internal Audit Standards. And let's be clear, this isn't just a minor update with a few tweaked definitions. We're looking at a fundamental shift in how audit functions actually operate, how they're governed, and most importantly, how they deliver value. It's a fascinating evolution, and we've structured this explainer to give you the exact actionable insights you need from the latest industry research.
So let me play the pragmatist right out of the gate here and ask a pretty pressing question. Is your internal audit function genuinely ready for the future? Because when you look at the current landscape, doing things the way we did them even 5 years ago, it's simply not going to cut it anymore.
No way, it absolutely won't. I mean, looking at recent insights from Sherry Bickert, they highlight how rapid technological innovations, obviously things like AI, and increasingly complex cyber threats have basically rewritten the entire risk landscape. Internal audit functions can't just sit in the back office doing simple backward-looking compliance checks anymore. They have to move forward, adapt to emerging risks at lightning speed, and ensure the organization's long-term sustainability.
Section 1. The modern internal audit, protecting value.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because we're looking at a huge transformation where the audit function really steps up to become an active protector of organizational value.
Exactly. The modern internal audit function is now totally expected to provide foresight, not just hindsight. It's all about strengthening the organization's ability to create and sustain value, giving senior management that independent, objective assurance, but also real strategic advice. And to understand how this is rolling out globally, we've got to map out the timeline. So the framework was initially restructured and released as IIA Standard January 9, 2024. That set up the new baseline, 52 standards across 5 distinct domains.
Right, but the critical date, the absolute non-negotiable enforcement date that every audit committee and chief audit executive needs to be totally aligned with is IIA Standard January 9, 2025. That's when these standards became fully effective. The transition period is officially over, and the new expectations are the rule of the land.
So what actually changed on the ground? Let's break down the first half of the key requirements based on those insights from Sherry Bickert. The absolute biggest shift starts right at the top, with the mandate and board involvement. The board and management must now clearly and formally define the authority, roles, and responsibilities of the internal audit function.
Yep, and this mandate must be formally evidenced in an internal audit charter. We're past the days of informal understandings. Plus, increased board involvement is just a massive, pervasive theme throughout these new standards. The days of internal audit working off in a silo? Totally gone. There's a huge push for proactive, regular communication and regular performance monitoring by the board to make sure the organization's needs are actually being met.
And building right on that performance monitoring, we hit the second half of the key changes, strategy and assessment. This is where things get highly measurable. The new standards outright demand that audit functions formally define key performance indicators, or KPIs.
Which is great. I actually love that they specifically promote the use of a balanced scorecard here to track this. It just makes the value so incredibly visible.
It really does, and it goes way beyond just tracking performance. It demands rigorous quality assessments. Audit functions literally have to implement a comprehensive quality assurance and improvement program. That means collecting both internal and external assessments, and not just to check a conformance box, but to genuinely measure progress toward their strategic performance objectives.
Section 2. Governing the Audit Function. Domain 3 Focus.
So, with all these new KPIs and mandates in place, what does this new level of oversight actually look like in practice?
Well, I really want to highlight this powerful quote directly from the source material regarding Domain 3. It positions the board and senior management as active partners in enabling audit effectiveness.
Active partners. Man, that's a really strong phrase.
It is, and it's completely intentional. Governance is no longer just this periodic check-in where the chief audit executive presents a report once a quarter. It is a continuous, daily, active partnership. The board is now deeply, fundamentally responsible for enabling the audit function, making sure it has the exact resources, independence, and access it needs to actually succeed.
And when you look at the benchmarking trends showing where audit functions are actually spending their time these days, there is a very significant focus on enterprise risk management, or ERM.
This brilliantly illustrates exactly how maturing audit functions are responding to these new partnership expectations.
Absolutely. As the internal audit function matures to meet all these new standards, integrating with an ERM program provides some incredible forward-looking protection. While internal audit provides the independent assurance, partnering really closely with ERM helps senior management actively monitor those emerging risks and align their mitigation strategies directly with the company's overall mission. It's exactly the kind of proactive, real-time value the new framework demands.
Section 3. Upcoming topical requirements. Future mandates.
Now, while the core framework is already locked in place, we also need to shift our conversation to the future for a second, because beyond the main standards, the IIA is rolling out specialized guidance specifically for high-risk engagements, and they're calling these topical requirements. Which is fascinating, really, because it proves the framework isn't just static. It's actively adapting to the very specific threats organizations are facing right now out in the external market. Let's compare the two major upcoming mandates. The first one provides a comprehensive approach to assessing cybersecurity governance and risk. That one goes into effect as IIA standard February 5, 2026.
Right, and then right on its heels is the mandate for third-party governance and control processes. I mean, supply chain and vendor risks are just massive right now, so this requirement becomes effective as IIA standard September 15, 2026.
So audit teams really need to be building out their methodology and getting their readiness plans in place for these specific high-risk areas today, not tomorrow.
Section 4. Why conformance really matters. Risks of inaction.
So we arrive at the ultimate "so what" question. What actually happens to an organization if they just decide to ignore all of this? Let's say a company decides they're way too busy. They skip updating their charter and they just ignore the new mandates altogether. What's the actual fallout? Honestly, the fallout is severe. According to the Audit Beacon source, failing to conform to IAA standard January 9, 2025 triggers 5 pretty dire consequences. First off, diminished audit quality. You're basically deviating from globally accepted best practices. Second, massive reputational risks, simply because these standards are synonymous with high-quality auditing. And that third one is a total nightmare for any organization: increased regulatory and compliance risks. Without a disciplined approach, those risks just multiply in today's complex environment.
Exactly, which leads straight into the fourth risk, the complete erosion of stakeholder trust. If you aren't conforming, stakeholders are going to lose faith in the assurance you provide, plain and simple. And finally, number 5, you suffer from missed opportunities for improvement. The standards require external quality assessments and continuous improvement. If you ignore them, your audit function stagnates while the rest of the business world just moves on without you.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder that this isn't just about checking a compliance box anymore. It's literally about survival and relevance, which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to wrap things up. Are you ready to elevate your audit quality?
Because the expectations have permanently shifted. It is officially time to update your internal audit charters, formalize those KPIs, embrace the board as a true active partner, and completely transform your audit strategy. The tools and standards are sitting right there. Now it's completely up to you to implement them.
Perfectly said. Thank you all so much for joining us for this explainer on the Global Internal Audit Standards. Keep learning, keep adapting, and we will see you next time.